Check it out. Got the door weather strip installed, put the door in the car, got it adjusted. We're getting back in business. Interested in seeing how we got this done? Stay tuned. All right, happy sunshiny weekend. It's beautiful. It's a beautiful day to be outside doing something, and here I am in the garage. Bill here, Christina, 56 Bel Air, she's behind me here. Rolled her out of the garage so you get some room to work on the doors. That's what we're doing this weekend. Last weekend I put the trunk lid on, so you got the trunk lid on there with the weather strip and everything, and that's all fitting up nicely. So now I'm turning my attentions to the doors, and yeah, so that's what we're gonna do. Let's get into it. All right, if you've been following along with my channel, I'm on episode 118, I believe. It's been 2 years now, and you have to go way back to the origin of my channel, like episodes 13, 21, and 23 are the three I looked up that all deal with repairing the doors. And here's a door that's been painted. Both of them been painted. All of Christine was painted. That was episodes 107. There's 2, Fast and Slow. But the doors were horrible. The bottoms, you can see, I still have the trays, the bottom part, and what I replaced. This is what I was dealing with, Swiss cheese. It's just terrible. So this is actually the pan that came off the bottom of this door, and you can see the door here that it was repaired. So let's see, this is actually the other side. So let me put the one that came off of this exact door. Here it is. You can see the splice. I'll show you that in a second. So there it is. Here's the door bottom, the pan. You can see all the Swiss cheese I was dealing with. You want to see how that was repaired? It's one of those episodes I just said, 23, 21, and 13. There's the splice. I had to splice it. It went all the way down in here, spliced it all the way across. And then when we painted Christine, there we were. This is a new skin on the outside that goes down. I think you can see the seam on that too. So there's a seam right in here, all the way across. This is a door that maybe somebody else would have thrown away, but in my world, I said, you know what? Christine is a survivor, not a survivor per se, but there's a lot of parts in Christine that are the original parts, and I felt like, you know what? These parts have earned their right for another ride. So that's what I'm gonna try to do. I've been trying to salvage as much as I can, trying not to make it all brand new. But so on this door, I spent some time yesterday. I had my the screws that hold the doors in. I bought an E118 airbrush a couple of weeks ago, and I used it last weekend for some touch-up, and it works great. So I use that E118 airbrush to paint these screws or bolts, whatever you want to call them. They're number 3 Phillips head, but they're as large as bolts. And what I have to do today is I have recovered the strip that goes on the bottom. This goes down here, and this is where your door panel, if you have the door panel installed the way the factory originally did it, there's a lip that's glued to the back of the board, and it slips in this channel, and it just goes right there. This is installed with this bottom edge flush with the bottom door, and I never did do that with the door skin when I took it off and repaired it the first time. There's one that's still on it. I even went to the bench and I made one. I made one with my vise, because one of these was just too much. That one was too horrible. So I made a new one on the vise, and it's going to do the job. So I'm going to put these two. I need to weld these two onto the door, onto 2 doors, and then I need to install the weather strip. And this is super simple on the door. These all have little holes along the entire periphery of the door, and there's these little plastic clips. And according to the instructions, you're not supposed to use weather stripping adhesive, so that's what we're going to do. We're going to go ahead and use that, and provided it all holds up tight, we're going to rely on the hardware to hold it up. But then what I did see is Eckler's recommended that if you do break one of those little clips, you use some weather stripping adhesive to adhere it. So that's what we're going to do. So let's go ahead and get started, and then we're going to go ahead and put these doors on. I've got new door bumpers, and hopefully I can get it all aligned. So man, I'm really looking forward to it. Here we go. All right, let's get that strip welded on. Just going to tack weld it through a few spots. This is actually zinc plated metal, so it's best to weld, but I'm going to go for it. Yeah, it looks good. Not the best, but that's going to work. It won't go anywhere. All right, good. All right, now that we got the strip welded on, let's turn our attention to the weather stripping. And I bought a kit from Classic Industries. They're a big box shop, but they typically have just about everything you need, based out of Huntington Beach, California. And this was as part of a kit, but I've noticed now as all the parts have come in one box, it's not exactly one brand. So the trunk seal was original equipment reproductions, and then this is precision replacement parts. So this particular part is DWB 121055, but let's see what it says on the door. So the door, it's their part number is, let's see, two-door Sedan Weatherstrip kit, yeah, WK 200. So they've got different numbers for these things, but let's see, this package is open, and this Weatherstrip comes in one continuous loop. It's one continuous loop. There's no end to it. It's welded. It's already welded in whatever length that it needs to be, and it's got these little clips that push in. And these are little T-head. There's a T that goes underneath through the hole, and then this little ribbed area, that's what punches through these holes. So the pan that came on the bottom of the door that I used for replacement, that already has these holes, and I'm hopeful. I noticed that the holes that were there were bigger than the ones that were on the car originally. So let's see, now I'll be able to pull this off. So there's a T. You can see what this fitting looks like. I didn't quite get it in there, but that's what these little pieces of hardware look like. So hopefully those will go in here. I'm hopeful that this is not going to be too loose in the bottom. But I'm going to go ahead and lay this out, and we'll put it on. So I ran it all the way around, and the weld splice is right here. And at first I thought I was going to put that at the bottom of the door, but check this out. There's two clips that are like right next to one another, about an inch apart. And so when I put this on the door and I looked around, it's like this is where I was welding in here, so I wouldn't doubt if this is where they were. But I had to create this double hole right here. So I also had to drill this hole because it was blocked off, and it was something that I'd welded or filled or something. So what I've done is now, since I've drilled it, I want it to be, I don't want bare metal, so I'm going to just put a little bit of primer just right there, just a little bit. And when that dries, that'll have these holes at least protected from corrosion a little bit. So, and I've got it masked off such that that's going to be right behind the weather stripping. All right, let's start clipping it. It's pretty obvious which way this thing goes. So I've got it draped the right way. Punch these through. The neighbors are outside. They're kind of loud. I like to make my own noise in my own garage and not listen to them. If the neighbors on the other side got their kids out, they got a party, there's always something going on. So I need something to push, something soft to push that. I'm going to use the back end of a screwdriver, so the soft end, push that in and make sure that they're fully seated. There's this one. Yep. Just need to go all the way around doing that. So I got to the bottom, and sure enough, these holes that were in this they were already pre-drilled in this bottom section of the door. They're too loose. It's like I can pull, if I really work at it, I can easily pull these out. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a little dab of weather stripping adhesive right, left and right of each one of these. And the way this is like contact cement. So you just you need to put a surface, a little bit of wet material on both surfaces, and it's like contact cement. You let it dry, and then after it dries, then you can adhere it. So that's what we're going to do here. All right, I got a dab of weather stripping cement at every hole on both sides, and then I got dabs on both sides of every pin. And it's been sitting for a few minutes, so it should be dry now to be able to just snap these in place. And that weather stripping adhesive ought to hold it, make sure it doesn't want to come out. I'm glad this is on the bottom of the door, because you can maybe see the weather stripping cement a little bit, but that's going to really do the trick. All right, I got the door in place. I did it by myself. I'm using my floor jack. I got a 2x4 that's like a channel. It's a top hat for a handrail, a piece of scrap wood. Anyway, I've got that strapped to my floor jack, and I've got the door resting in the channel on a towel. So I was able to get it picked up and lifted in place, and now I was able to go ahead and attach the screws. You know, once you get this door in place, the hinges fit into the pockets, so they pretty much cooperate. So now I need to figure out the in and the out adjustment. I need to figure out the in and the out adjustment here. So it's these two and these two to adjust the tilt of the door this way, the twist. And then it's these in here, there's 1, 2, 3 and 1, 2, 3 that adjust the door, you know, in this plane. So I'm working on it. Let's see if we can't get it. Ta-da! I got it. Adjusting this door is super hard. It took me forever to get it, but it's still crazy tight. I mean, it's like, I don't like the way it's closing, but it's closing like crazy tight. So I haven't lubricated the hinges yet or not, but the weather stripping's on there, and then when I go to close it, I really like to slam it. But it doesn't move, it doesn't jiggle. And then when I release it, it really like pops out, you know? It's kind of like in a bind almost, but it's still getting two latches. So there's the first. There's a gap, so it's a safety latch. You shut it all the way, and it's two. So it looks really good. It's flush here, flush down here. And I don't know, maybe the door needs to be tilted out a little bit. I'm gonna let that weather stripping settle in, and then I'll go ahead and I'll maybe tune it and tweak it after it sits a little bit, because that trunk lid was the same way. Went to close it, and it was like next to impossible. Let me open the door and show you the weather strip. All right. I mean, all that daylight I had, it's gone. It is gone. Weather strip looks really good. Looks super clean all the way around. A little dog ear clip on the corner. Ceiling here, you know, it just looks tight all the way. And you know, this strike, I had to adjust the strike too. So watch. It's sticking out a little bit here, and so maybe this door does need to come out on the bottom hinge just a fraction, just a little bit, to let that thing rock the whole door. But that's it. That's gonna do it. I'm exhausted. I mean, I'm doing this by myself. I thought I was gonna get both doors done today, you know. I'm out of my mind. Of course not. So now I'm gonna have to do the other door, but at least it should go quicker, because now I know what I'm doing. You know, you do it once. So, and what I'm looking forward to doing is I need to do some paint corrections on this. I need to do a little bit of super fine sanding in some spots. There's a little bit of orange peel, and I'm gonna buff it out. I got some Roops polish and a long throw DA that I'm using. So before I put my stainless back on, I want to do some paint corrections, and I'll get that done. But she's starting to look like a car again, don't you think? I mean, look at that. Look at that. I mean, I got the trunk lid on, I got the door on. Still missing that door. But that's gonna do it. Do appreciate you hanging out with me. following along. I'm loving the comments. I'm really liking the group of people that are following me and just commenting all the time. And it's just encouraging, and it's helping. It's helping. So if you like the stumbling, if you like the videos, please give them a thumbs up. And if you enjoy the channel, I'd appreciate a subscription. So until I see you next time, I'm Punch Drunk. I'm out of here. Take care of yourself. Cheers.